Hi, everybody. Welcome to our fourth continuing education session. And tonight, my name is Zosha, and tonight or today, wherever you're watching this, we are going to talk about oils for every age, which I think is just fantastic. Because if you've got to this doTERRA part of your life, this part of your doTERRA life, you might now need to know a little bit more information on there's so many oils, what is effective for what person, and are they effective for every age? And so my intention tonight is to help you understand that actually, because we have such high grade oils with doTERRA, and they are what we call certified therapeutic grade, they are the most trusted oils on the market. And I think you can be very, very safe and happy to know that these oils are safe to be used at all ages. So welcome, and I hope that if you have any questions that you ask me, whatever you need, but let's go straight through. I'm going to share my screen so that you can just see what's happening. Here we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have been using doTERRA oils. Sorry, let me go back a little bit. I got a bit excited. I've been using doTERRA oils now for 2 years. And actually, I've been using natural therapies for many, many, many years. I have been involved in wellness for years, about over 30 years. Oh, it's a bit scary. And I am a certified health coach. So I deal with people in all shapes and forms and lots of different ages. I have run many different wellness programs, from small children to adults, to teenagers, to seniors. So actually, going through the Oils for Every Age series, I wish that I had had oils earlier. However, I'm very, very blessed to have them now, and I want to educate you to understand that, because of the strength of the oils, that we have, an ability to be able to use these in such a medicinal and a supportive way. So let's get straight into it. Oh, down here, sorry. Okay, so let's look at firstly, our first stage is pregnancy. And in actual fact, I think, a lot of people are concerned when you talk about pregnancy and anything that you take in regard to, are supplements safe, are certain foods safe, and through pregnancy, we have a very delicate time. And I think the first trimester is probably the most challenging time. And then after that, you can sort of open the gates a little bit more. But with doTERRA, you can be pretty safe that they are safe to use throughout your pregnancy. And I would even go even before that and say that I would hope that my clients would be using supplements and preparing themselves for pregnancy before. Yeah, so that then actually you're preparing your gut health, your overall detoxing, everything to do with being able to prepare yourself for conception is so important. And I often, with my clients, when they first come to me and they say they're interested in conceiving, I say, great, I've got you at the early stages, so I can get you as healthy as possible so that conception happens really well and safely. So the oils are, I think, an incredible support through pregnancy. You have here on the slides, you can see the TerraZyme, and let's even talk before TerraZyme. I think for pregnancy, what is extremely important, but especially the supplements and the vitamins and the minerals are foundational, because actually if your body is deficient in certain minerals and vitamins, then that is what's being passed down to your baba. Yeah. So the supplements that doTERRA has, the lifelong vitality supplements, are an absolute complete unit, and they are so wonderful to be able to take throughout pregnancy. Of course, before you take anything, before you do anything, I would always consult your doctor, because every pregnancy is different. Every woman is different. Every person is different. Chat to your doctor. Your pregnancy might go perfectly smoothly. Somebody else might have a few complications. So please always get clearance with your doctor first. But you can be safe with the Lifelong Vitality, amazing ingredients that can support you throughout your pregnancy. You can see the Terrazyme. During pregnancy, what happens is you have an increase in smooth muscle. So what happens is that the muscles start to slow down a little bit. So what happens is the digestive system becomes extremely sluggish. And for the first trimester, pretty much sometimes up until the second trimester, it can be extremely annoying. I want to say annoying, but to have the fact that your bowels are so slow, and I'm very comfortable talking about bowels and bowel movements. So please, carte blanche here. But you become extremely sluggish. So I remember in my pregnancy, I ended up going to get a reflexology because I had always been extremely regular, and for the first time in my life, I had been constipated, and it was horrible. And so I had reflexology, but she actually had given me a homeopathic treatment, and she had given me some great herbs to work with, which is not too dissimilar to what we have in our oils digestion. And so you have fennel, you have fenugreek, a beautiful combination of oils. And so you can use those topically, whether you use them through on your feet because the pores are the largest, or you actually rub them on your tummy. Amazing. The Terrazyme will also help as well because it'll help you digest the food. Through pregnancy, it is so independent to each woman. So some women will feel absolutely comfortable eating certain foods. Other women will feel repulsed, I should say, by certain foods. So the Terrazyme helps that breaking down of food, helps because you have got this sluggish digestive system. So, we actually say Terrazyme for many ages, but at the specific moment for pregnancy, it is super. The other thing that is not there on the overhead that I think is extremely important is to have a great probiotic. And because that whatever good bugs you have in your tum-tum will be passed down to your bubba. Yeah, so pregnancy is an amazing time to be aware of all the substances that you take that may actually hinder your baby. So amazing, I think, to have some great probiotics. As well, if you have a look at something like copaiba is beautiful for many different reasons, but specifically for anxiety or for relaxation. And actually they're suggesting that they can help boost your milk supply when you are breastfeeding. So I wish I'd had copaiba. Actually, to be fair, I didn't have too much of a problem. After I had my baby, I had papaya soup in the hospital, which everybody was repulsed by, but actually the nurses swore by that to make the milk. So I was very lucky. I did search when I was preparing for this education continuing ed session. I did search, and I was wondering, why don't we have papaya oil? Is it possible? So maybe on the wish list, maybe doTERRA will create that. I think two of these, like I just mentioned fennel before, but basil is also quite an important herb to be able to promote milk. So we're saying to use topically is fantastic. You just have to be careful, of course, when you're nursing, because whatever you're taking, your baby will in some way absorb. So my recommendation is that you are very careful about what you take, and that you take it sparingly. So you dilute it with fractionated coconut oil, and don't take much, and test firstly. When my son was born, he had extremely bad just gas all the time, and I used to massage his belly. I used to put him in a hot bath, warm bath, and then massage his belly. I used to remember massaging moving his legs to try and get his digestive system to be a little happier. So if I'd had oils during that time, it would have been extremely valuable. Digestin, peppermint. And just talking about peppermint has quite a controversial edge to women who are breastfeeding post delivery. During your pregnancy, you may find that peppermint actually is quite soothing. You may find that it can help with your digestive system. A small amount diluted, rubbed into your, just gently massaging on your belly can be very, very comforting if you've got an upset tummy, particularly towards the end of your pregnancy. My daughter sat very, very high up. She didn't really want to come out. She was 2 weeks overdue. And so I had terrible reflux. It was absolutely horrible. And so I spent a lot of time massaging her to move her downwards. And it would have been amazing to have peppermint. I remember drinking a lot of peppermint tea to calm the acid reflux. Another thing that's really fantastic that we don't have here on the slide is ginger oil. And ginger oil is amazing just to drop in to hot water and to drink as a tea. It's so beautiful. If you have ginger, oil, and lemon as well together, spectacular, just beautiful. And also, I took a little bit of time to go through. I had written a diary when I was through both of my babies, and I did hypnobirthing. Well, I did hypnobirthing the first time with my baby, and the second one, she was way too quick for me to do the hypno. I was in the hospital asking, like, oh my gosh, I need to put my music on. The doctor said, forget about your music, just push, lady. And but it was interesting because my doula, so she was I call her my personal trainer for giving birth. She was rubbing lots of things into me at that time, lots and lots. And actually she had said to me that she was rubbing clary sage into my ankles to help my cervix and to relax my cervix. I was very, very set on no drugs, and luckily I didn't have drugs for either of my baby's deliveries. But I just remember, her rubbing my feet. There were various things that she was doing to me, and I actually sent her a message yesterday because it was her birthday, and I said, "Can you tell me what you were rubbing all those years ago?" I'm sure she won't be able to remember, but at so many stages in the pregnancy and the delivery, the oils can be absolutely amazing and a great support. So coming back to the peppermint, be careful because once you are nursing, for many women, there's great research, and you can see that for some women, there's absolutely no effect on breast milk, but on some there actually is. And it could be, even if you weren't using peppermint, it could be as simple as the menthol in chewing gum may affect your milk supply. So we are pretty firm to say, please be careful with peppermint when you are nursing. Any questions? Pete, on pregnancy?
Yeah, I'll just stick to my ginger in the water every morning.
Ginger in the water, exactly. Oh my goodness. I've got so many more to tell you, but I'm not sure if we have a continuing ed on this, but I wanted to say there's some incredible support through the doTERRA website. There's a great podcast with some great people on pregnancy. So if this is something that you're going through at the moment, or you have friends or people in your team that are going through pregnancy and you need some more support, please reach out and look into the doTERRA website because there's so much available and some amazing, amazing advice from people. Okay, let's have a look. All right, so now let's see infants around the age of 2. Well, actually, infants in general. I remember my girlfriend said to me, oh, babies are so easy. And it's the easy stage of your life. And there was nothing easy. The pregnancy was fantastic. The birth was great. The infant stage I found very challenging. I found very difficult. I did 2 very energetic children. My daughter had reflux. So I was up for hours and hours. I spent a lot of time holding her like this. And actually, I used coconut oil a lot to massage her. Had I, of course, had the oils, it would have been amazing to use Digestin and actually a lot of lavender to calm them down, to get them to sleep. Maybe they just, took on a lot of the energy from me. But I think this is a beautiful stage to introduce the oils to your children. Of course, you have to be super careful because babies they're like a little raw slate. So they absorb so much quicker. They're so much smaller. So the volumes have to be much smaller. Dilute. Doesn't mean that you're watering it down. It just means that you're spreading it out on a wider surface area. So, when you think about, with babies, I remember the biggest challenge for me was to find lotion, baby lotion, that wasn't scented, that didn't have chemicals. And I remember there was this brand at the time that was extremely popular, and both of my children reacted very strongly to them. They came out into a rash. And so I was searching and searching and searching. I would, run through the city looking for these organic lotions. So doTERRA has a beautiful unscented lotion, which is fantastic because you could add to that a drop of chamomile. You could add a drop of lavender to that, and to rub that into your baby after bath time, which is just beautiful, and then to help them soothe and to help them unwind. I used many sort of interesting, weird sounds, white noises to get my children to sleep. If only I had a diffuser. So this is just a beautiful gift to be able to use with your infants. The On Guard touch is amazing. Just you don't need to use very much. You could even dilute that On Guard touch. A little small swipe on the feet to boost their immunity. Babies and infants pick up so many little bugs everywhere. You take them to a playgroup and they come back with a snotty nose. It's like, don't touch my child, I remember. So the On Guard, use it everywhere. You can, also use your hand sanitizer. And then the tamer, which is beautiful. It's a combination of peppermint and spearmint. And it is part of the children's pack that I'll go through in a moment. But this is beautiful for tummies as well. And babies, the thing is with babies, they drink so much milk. They spend so much time lying down. I spend a lot of time doing this with my babies. Not shaking, just lifting them up and down to stretch their little intestines to stop, them having tummy problems. The tamer saves your shoulders and your arms to do that. There's your unscented lotion. And I think a diffuser, the beautiful Lumo diffuser has the gorgeous lights that change color, and babies and children love to see these little variations in the light. So these are fantastic to have at this stage of your bubba's world. Then we sort of go a little bit further onwards to school-age children. And this is pretty much my kids at the moment. And I've got to say that I use all of these and everything else. I swear by the PB Assist. I think it's a really clever way of getting probiotics into smaller children. I have been shoving various potions down my children's necks for years with a lot of resistance. So my children will not take tablets. So I have been crushing things and trying to hide them into various foods and potions for things to be spat back out at me. And so the probiotic Junior Assist is amazing. It really is quite sweet. My son hates it because he actually hasn't got a sweet tooth, but my daughter loves it. And she now has her own routine of just popping one in the morning. It's a little powder. Actually, adults can take it as well. Some really fantastic strains of probiotics there. And I do recommend that you really take hold of a probiotic regularly for your child. Doesn't mean you have to take them all the time. You can sort of cycle them. So you can do it for a month and then have a little break and then do it again. But to keep that rotation, luckily my son now is 12, almost 13. So he now will take the proper PB Assist, which is wonderful. So that's, saved us a lot. He's had a few tummy problems having had glandular fever. So I've really needed to work on his immunity. And always with immunity, this is, I think, an interesting thing being a parent. Parents rush out to the doctor very, very quickly all the time when they've got a cold or a flu or anything like that. But actually, if you take the time to do prevention and you work on the general vitamins, so we've got A to Z, which is a great kids vitamin there, and your omega-3s, which is also super. If you can focus on your probiotics, this is already the base of your immunity. So you are building foundation with your children. It stops you going to the doctor. I mean, I have to touch wood because I always get nervous, but we have not been to the doctor for a long time, which is fantastic. And I really think it's because we have a very good routine of taking these supplements. Let me just add, the A to Z is quite a thick, chunky tablet. My kids are not into chewables. Many children are. So I have crushed these and put them in smoothies, whatever it takes. So just to, if you have children that don't like the crushables don't like tablets. Weirdly enough, the oil my kids actually asked for. Can we have the fish oil before breakfast? I think that's great. So it actually has a beautiful lemon flavor, which is super. And then you have the On Guard beadlet. So if we're talking about concentrations and we're concerned about the amount of concentration that children take of the oils, because the oils are strong, yes, they're very, very strong chemicals, then the On Guard beadlets are fantastic. Pete, can you remind me how many drops is in the On Guard beadlet?
Yeah, sure. So inside each one, it's a quarter of a drop. So
Okay.
one quarter of a drop, and inside that little container, there's 125 beadlets.
Fantastic. I mean, if we can get the children to get into the habit of that, those are, they're tiny little beadlets. And that's something that, firstly, the great thing about On Guard is it has the oil of clove, the oil of cinnamon. This is like an antibacterial that already starts in your mouth. So if your children are taking this in the mouth, already you're thinking about gum health, teeth health, everything from swallowing the On Guard is amazing for children. So already the immunity is starting in the mouth and to the throat area. So this is a great, great option. And then the beautiful kids collection. This is just amazing. I mean, I want to share a story with you because a year ago, I haven't taught for a year, sadly, because of COVID and many other reasons, but I was running a kids program. So I had a kids Pilates, yoga and dance program, and I taught children from the ages of 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I had a sort of a middle age from 8 to 12 class in schools. And when I introduced the kids collection, even with these small children who were 3.5, just how much they gravitated to them. And I would get them to have a little smell and to select which ones that they liked. And it was so interesting to see which scents they gravitated to. So the kids collection is just wonderful. You've got 7 in there, and you've got everything from the tummy tamer, you've got a stronger, you've got a calmer. I'm so sorry, I can't remember the other ones, but they're so wonderful because they are not only diluted, but they're blends. So you've got a whole mixture of oils in there. And what you'll find is that this gives children the opportunity to take hold of their own health and their own emotions. So then children just absolutely love it. I mean, you can probably remember when Jaja first got her kids collection, and she was absolutely so enthralled by the cards, flashcards, and then she started telling us about them. I should have probably invited her onto the call so she could have done a little bit of a brief. Maybe next time I'll do that. But they're great. Please look into these kids collections. They're wonderful. And the great thing is they've got little toggles, and so kids can actually carry them to school with them, and they feel that they need support here and there. They can keep them in their little bags. I absolutely love the kids.
I think one point, just to let people know who are watching the recording, so the kids kit can come as the kit, but you can also buy it individually, can't you?
Yes, you're exactly right. Thank you so much for reminding me. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so that's only just happened, I think, maybe in the last year, 6 months or year. And so that's great, because often what happens is you'll find that children will use more of one. And so they'll run out of, 2 of them, and then there's the other ones that they haven't run out of. So then you can replenish very quickly. So yes, they're absolutely a super support. And it makes children realize that there is help if they're not feeling great. So for example, my daughter, I remember once her friend was doing a little talk in her class. And so she took the stronger to class with her, and she gave it to her, and she said, use that, rub that on your chest, and then you'll feel more confident when you do your talk. So of course the mother, texted me back. She said, what did your daughter give my daughter? I said, oh yes, my little lady, my little doTERRA wellness advocate in the making. So let's move on now to adolescence. I'm almost there. My son is almost 13, but I have got a lot of my friends' children who are experiencing adolescent time at the moment. And the biggest thing actually that I see with most teenagers is the skin and quite a lot of pimples, which is acne, quite tough for kids to have that. So the HD Clear skincare, I actually sent this to a friend of mine. Her daughter now is 14, and she loves this skincare combination. So there is a cleanser in there, there's an oil, and there's also a little roller that you can use. So I think this 3 little pack is really a godsend for adolescents. As well, if we can have a look for adolescents, you need your vitamins, which is extremely important, because at this stage they're going through puberty. So now you're starting to get major fluctuations and changes in the bodies, and the bodies demand a lot more. And I would love to say that we're getting everything from our diet. Unfortunately, if I use my son as an example, he is dreadful when it comes to the vegetables. He likes 5 vegetables. That's it. So I have to actually, it's very important, I have to get these extra vitamins into him because now as he's growing, it's extremely fundamental for his growth and development, and particularly for brain development. We forget, we're always very much about the physical, but for our children to balance their moods through these hormones, we need the balance of the oils. We need the balance of the vitamins for them to manage their emotions. And I think anyone who has teenagers knows that Helen, you're probably nodding your head, remembering many of those years ago of Pete as a teenager. One day they love you, and then one day they don't want to be near you. So for example, on the weekend, we went for a walk. My son wanted to hold my hand. I was like, oh, wonderful. And then he told me at the night that he had, to never kiss him ever again. I thought, oh, horrendous. And so I try not to take it personally. And all I do is then I get that diffuser, crack it open, and then I put in the serenity in there just to calm him down. And I think emotions and support for our teenagers and our adolescents is extremely important. And to teach them that they actually have this support with the oils is an amazing tool for them. So oils that you can use. This oil, Claricalm, is specifically for female hormone support. I have been helping my friend's son. He has got ADHD, and of course we've been homeschooling, and it's been very challenging for her and for him as well. So she has a diffuser going every day, and she uses peppermint vetiver, which is a very calming, quite a heavy oil actually, and she's been using wild orange in there as well. And this, she's found, has really, really helped to soothe her. So if you're going through, your children are going through this stage, there are so many oils that you can use. Another friend of mine, both her daughters, they're twins, very tumultuous times at the moment with the hormones. And I have got them using the adaptive roller, which has been really, really great. And they love lavender. So they're very, very simple oils. Yeah. Sometimes we can get very complicated in the basic oil like lavender, particularly at this age, because they're still kids. They don't need a lot of oil, or they don't need that much to get a response. I've got to say the Claricalm for young girls who are experiencing painful periods has been extremely positive. So a friend of mine, her daughter just started her periods in extremely, extremely painful cramps. So I got her to use the Claricalm, and daughter was so fantastic. I said, how's it been this month? You have to be careful not to embarrass them. And she said, the oil's great. I rub it on my belly. I have no pain. That's it. I was like, okay, fantastic, great. So that's amazing. You can also not only use it on your belly, but you can use it on the inside of your ankle, which in reflexology is the reflexology point for the uterus. So it's a really great area to use Claricalm, and that's actually at all ages for all women. How are we going? Okay.
Splendid, splendid.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. I just wanted to say something else as well, because I sort of mentioned a lot for girls. I didn't say too much for boys. For boys, sometimes things like lavender might be a little too florally, but something like cedarwood is fantastic. And a lot of people, I know you love all the woody oils. And I've just been exploring a lot of the firs, like the Douglas fir, and I think they're really nice for men, that sort of piney type scents for boys. And so I've been exploring that with my son. The other thing I was going to inform you all about is children and adolescents often get allergies. They might be allergic to the pollen, they might be allergic to certain irritants in the house. And I had a great little story from last week where my son, I really can't tell you what it was that sparked the response, but he was sneezing, the eyes were watering, his eyes got so puffy. And in the past, way before oils, I would have reached for quite a strong antihistamine called Zyrtec, which many parents reach to. But actually Tri-Ease, which we have, which is a combination of peppermint, lavender, and lemon, and it comes in very soft capsules, soft gels. Amazing. One of those, he took that, and within, very, very fast, within 15 minutes, the eyes had opened back up again and he had stopped the sneezing and the redness. And I just think how wonderful to have that natural antihistamine in the house. So that is a must, I think, for everyone, not just teenagers. Okay, adults. Oh my goodness, where do we begin? You know, I think any adult, you know, when you sort of get to the stage of your life where you're working and you're busy, you've got businesses or you've got children or all of those things, sometimes we are at the bottom of the list. Yeah, a lot of time we forget about ourselves and we'll get to a certain point where we hit the wall and then we wonder, what happened to me? We were running at 200 miles per hour and then, you know, something pulled the rug out from under our feet. So before that rug gets pulled out, and if it has been pulled out, please look to the Lifelong Vitality. I know we talk about this a lot, but the combination of the vitamins, they are, I'm not sure of the actual term, Pete. What would you say? They're almost like a food source in themselves, so you can take them on an empty stomach. And
like bioavailable?
That's it, bioavailable. And so this means that you can take them. You don't necessarily, my mum even said to me the other day, make sure you're taking vitamins with your food. And I said, well, these days vitamins change a lot, Mum. And these are great. You can take them. So if you forget and you're in the afternoon, like, I really need to take those vitamins, please invest in these invest in these supplements. You will never look back. And actually there's incredible testimonials to show that these vitamins have got improved energy, mental clarity, which at a certain point in our life, I often think that just the brain has way too much inside it. We've got too much to think about. But actually it comes down to gut health, comes down to your main food diet, and actually what you're supplementing. And I do believe these supplements can really help to improve mental clarity and inflammation. Terrazyme, we talked about that a little bit earlier with pregnancy. This is fantastic because over time and over through life, you know, sometimes because of stress, sometimes because we haven't eaten that well, or maybe you've had some bacteria or parasites or anything like that, you know, sometimes the gut is compromised. And so we haven't got the right enzymes, or we don't naturally produce enough enzymes to break down our food as well as we should. These are a game changer, I think, for so many people. And particularly as, you know, I see in my clients who are 50, 60, 70, where the digestive system becomes sluggish. It's disappointing, but we need a little bit of help now and then. And, you know, a lot of my clients, I have a couple of clients who are now in their 60s, and they get very frustrated because they eat well, they exercise well, they're not drinking alcohol, they're doing everything they're supposed to, but yet they still say to me, I just don't feel like I'm the best that I can be. And often it could be because your body's not able to absorb all the nutrients in the food. You haven't got the enzymes. So give your body some chance to be able to, or give your body a little helper. The Terrazyme is an amazing product. Lemon is a great detoxer, and it's just a great thing to start your day off. I think there are so many oils that you can add to your daily routine. Don't make it complicated. Lemon, simple, simple, simple. Couple of drops in the water in the morning. Go for it. Drink that first. That will just set you off, give you a good cleanse in the body. So another great thing that we talk about for all ages, and it's interesting we talk about adults in this stage, because actually I see it not just for adults, but at all ages, where we need a little bit of help just to feel a little bit uplifting. You know, we've in the past, we use coffee, we use tea, we use stimulants, whatever it is. But I think the oils are an incredible tool to be able to lift your mood. I use them aromatically a lot in my house, particularly for myself. Just if I wake up in the morning and I feel very just flat, doesn't mean that I'm foggy, but I just need a little uplift. All your citrus family are incredible, but citrus bliss particularly is super in being able to create that happiness. Wild orange is, to me, like a Prozac in a bottle. You cannot cry when you have wild orange. It's beautiful. I carry it around with me everywhere. It's in the car, it's in my wallet, it's in my bag. At any point in time, I absolutely love it. My newest one that I love is bergamot. I absolutely love that, and it's part of the citrus family as well. And the great thing about bergamot, it is not UV sensitive. So enjoy those oils that we have. There are so many that you can use aromatically that can boost and improve your mood. Topically, we have got so many that you can also use for soreness in muscles. You know, for adults, whether we work out or whether we just, you know, have had a big day doing whatever, sitting at the office, tension in the muscles. You've got the adaptive program, which is amazing. And you've also got Motivate. Both of these are very much about mood enhancers. And so these are really valuable in the little blends that you can use effectively, and to decrease stress and to increase your energy. And Motivate definitely does that. Internally, we see you can take grapefruit, lime, tangerine. Please take time to look at all the available oils that we can take internally. Generally, we say that if they haven't got a topper, that it's like a child lock, that they are safe to use internally. So please explore, see what you can use. You know, for me personally, I always start my day off with turmeric oil and copaiba oil, and that is what I start for an internal. And then, you know, depending on the day and depending how I feel, then I will add varying variations to that theme. Oh my goodness, the glory years. Helen, I think of the glory years, but I still think of it. You're not quite there yet. You're still there. But I think that at these years, and actually, you know, I think as an adult, from the age of 40 onwards, you really need to think about joint support and longevity. You know, a lot of the time I get clients who come to me who are concerned about whether or not they've put on weight or this. Actually worry about the internal health. Worry about whether or not you're strong. That's what I want my clients to be able to have great energy through the day for many, many years onwards. I use my mum as a great example because she's 87. And when I first got her the oils, I got her the wonderful 10-pack of oils. She loved using them, you know, sporadically. And then one time I sent her Slim and Sassy, and in Australia it's called Slim and Smart. Well, she said to me, that Slim and Sassy just keeps me going all day. So she was diffusing it. She loved it. And then she put it in her water. She loved it. She said the great thing about it is it stopped her craving sugar. And so that was already an alarm bell for me, because I thought usually you crave sugar when your nutrient balance is out. So she takes the Lifelong Vitality, and she also uses the Slim and Sassy, and she finds that her energy is fantastic through the day. Really, really great. Her latest love is the copaiba. She loves that as well. So I think through these years, we're looking specifically to create energy, but especially protect and nourish the brain. And that's where also in the Lifelong Vitality, you've got your omegas, which is extremely important. Bone Nutrient Complex, this is a great support for healthy bone mass and density. It provides a great recommended amount of calcium and magnesium, particularly D2 and D3. For you to be able to uptake calcium, you need to have vitamin D2 and D3. And what I want to sort of add to that, you know, when I spoke about Terrazyme before, there are many people that reach sort of an older age where they take everything, but they don't have that absorbency. So when you look at the bone nutrient complex, it's wonderful, but make sure you're also adding in that terrazine. Make sure you're adding in the probiotics. Make sure you're adding in the omegas. It might sound like a lot to be adding to your routine, but this is to me like putting money in the bank. So if I want to have investment and I want to have growth, I want my body to be strong till the end. I want to keep going till my children think that I'm going to live to 140, which I think is wonderful. There might need to be a little bit of renovation by then. But I think to myself, good, this is where I really need to put the coins in the bank. And this is what you're thinking is investment for your body. And so the bone nutrient is brilliant. Actually, when I had an accident a year ago, and I was in hospital for a while, and I was in the orthopedic unit, and it was very upsetting to see so many women at an age from 60 who were breaking their bones very, very easily, and very crazy ways. You know, one of the ladies next to me had slipped over, literally had gone out to get her washing, had slipped over, broke her femur in her leg, which is the large bone in the top of your leg. And she had the operation. So she had a pin that went through her leg, and then she was getting rehab, and then they took her away to the rehab hospital. And then about 3 weeks later, she came back and the bone had slipped. So the actual bone was so weak that it wasn't even holding the pins and the screws that were in that bone. And I had this bone nutrient complex with me, and I looked at her diet, and it was frightening. You know, there was a lot of white rice, a lot of white noodles. And I, of course, the big mouth that I have, I couldn't help but say to her, I can really help you. I know I might not look like I can help you, but I need to give you some advice. And I said to her, I really think you need a bone supplement, and you need a bone nutrient. So I gave her this complex, and I said, please take it. And then gave her my card, please speak to me. But it's so fundamental. And so many of that generation are just not educated in understanding how important this is. So please, if you cannot convince the beautiful, mature, aged students in our lives to take these supplements, just buy it and just give it to them. That's my policy. The other thing I was going to say that's really great for older people, and actually for adults, is the turmeric. So I did mention that I take the turmeric in the oil, but actually doTERRA has a fantastic supplement, which is the turmeric dual chamber capsules, which is amazing. And turmeric, so the dual chamber capsules also have turmeric, the oil in there as well, which meant for you to uptake curcumin, which is the anti-inflammatory component of turmeric, it does need to be in oil. So that's the wonderful aspect of that supplement. And I have found that has been an absolute game changer for myself, and also for many other clients of mine. Another thing I didn't mention was DDR Prime. I know I could keep going for hours, right? There's so many supplements, but DDR Prime is particularly important for cellular health and for brain health, which for us as we're aging, for me, I see so many actually people in my age group, I don't know, I'm sounding old now, aren't I? But who tell me stories, who are so forgetful about things, and the dementia and the Alzheimer is just, it's everywhere for me. And I think to reduce inflammation, to add those supplements and to add those oils to help yourself is really, really important. Any questions? Any comments? Helen, I can see you in the background there. There must be a question, and there must be maybe, I'd like a testimonial from you of something that you've used that has really created profound results for you and your energy and your health.
In my energy?
It's exploding with energy at the moment.
I know it's late. Is there a product that you swear, even maybe by skin?
I think a really interesting point is that Mum has always done a lot of research on natural products, as far as I can remember. Like way back. And so when she started using doTERRA a few years back now, she would always compare the supplements. And it's just been recently, that you've been using like the whole line of the lifelong vitality. But what Mum also does is increase the calcium level, because she determined that there wasn't enough calcium she felt for herself just in the lifelong vitality. So you also take the bone nutrient as well, don't you?
I'd swear by that. So yeah.
And I think it's important because actually there's a lot of calcium supplements. To be fair, calcium does get a bad rap because excessive amount of calcium can actually block your arteries, which then can affect blood pressure and heart disease and all those sorts of things. So the amount of calcium, the type of calcium, and what it's combined with is extremely important. And that's where the D3 and D2 is super vital. And I think,
as you said, Josh, it must be with vitamin D and magnesium too.
correct. And actually magnesium, we are so deficient in magnesium. I've been doing my research about magnesium the last couple of months, and there are 7 types of magnesium, and they all have very different roles in the body. And when I do health coaching with my clients, I really investigate. I'm like a little investigator to ask, you know, how do they feel? Do they sleep at night? Do they not sleep? But we are all very deficient in magnesium. So it's fantastic to see that magnesium is added to that bone supplement. It's really
I think, Josh, especially as you get older too, with the magnesium, you really need it.
Absolutely. And one thing that often a lot of clients say to me is that they've got lots of energy, but then they can't get to sleep. And it's not because they're drinking coffee or tea, nothing like that. You know, you speak to most people, or most women, men, sometimes maybe not, but they're very diligent. A lot of my clients, they're very diligent in maybe only having a cup of tea in the morning. They say, I can't have tea or coffee after 12. And so getting to sleep is a real challenge. Magnesium is extremely important in being able to get you to be rested. It's also fundamental for heart health. And there's been some fantastic studies to show that people who take magnesium regularly actually have lower incidences of heart attack and cardiac issues, which I think is just a plus, an absolute plus and a must. So I have sort of a checklist that I ask people if they what supplements they're taking. And so doTERRA's, the bone complex, is really good. Beautiful.
Sasha, I'm really happy that you talked about the lifelong vitality, because a lot of people, when they start with doTERRA, they start with oils, don't they? And then after some time, they will graduate into supplements. I just wish that everyone started with the supplements, because I want to talk about them in such an authentic way that's not about selling the product, because the product is so incredible. And it's little wonder that it's reached the #1 selling product here in doTERRA. And they also whack up a guarantee on the side of the box that says, you know, if you don't feel any shift in anything, we're guaranteeing that you will feel something within 30 days. So I did start on a natural solutions kit. So I had those supplements, and I had eczema at the time. And that's why I started with doTERRA. To get my skin under control. I knew through studying my nutrition certification, I knew that it was about my gut that I needed to get back into whack again.
Yes.
So I love talking about the supplements, because I personally, for like 2.5 years now, have been taking Lifelong Vitality, and have had such incredible results in, like, externally, like skin for sure. But internally, energy. One example is I could never work in my cafe all weekend and then go and jump on the treadmill and run for an hour. So the amount of energy that I've got is incredible. And then my hair just won't stop growing, nails growing. And it's a sign, like when the extremities, like hair, skin, nails, start to have vitality.
Absolutely.
That is a really good sign, because all of the nutrients go to your internal organs first. So what you'll find is that in Hanoi, when I run this galvanistic skin response on people to pick up what oils they need, it's always hair and skin, which it says that it's depleted, because our water's bad, our pollution is high here. However, when you start taking supplements, it's feeding your internal necessity organs, I guess, first, then it goes to the extremities. So it's really been the last, after taking it for like 2.5 years, it's really been the last year, I guess, I've really felt the foundation has really kicked in. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that people, if you do start taking them, and I hope you do try the supplements, think of the life cycle of a cell, which is about 120 days. So you want to influence that cell for at least 120 days, but continue for some time. And
Yes.
oh my goodness, I'm so excited with the results. And it's a product that I won't stop taking just because I love the benefits it gives me. And people think too that, you can take supplements for some time and then go off them. But what supplements are doing, they're filling in the gaps of your nutrition that you can't get from food these days.
Right.
And so it's like, I guess, putting poor quality petrol, gasoline in your car, as opposed to really high quality. Yeah,
exactly.
And so I want to put good quality ingredients into my body that get a really good result from it. So I can really, really see the difference in energy and vitality after taking this product for 2.5 years. So I'd love to urge people, my advice would be to give them a go, the lifelong vitality supplements. And it does have a 30-day money back guarantee.
Which is amazing. And, just talking about cellular health, I think what's important is to understand that, when you look at a cell, the cell membrane, it is fatty, and so it's liquid fat. So you've got your omegas, which help to keep that cell membrane really nice and oily, and then that allows for that transfer of the vitamins and the minerals to go into the mitochondria to reduce ATP, to produce ATP, which then creates this incredible cycle of energy, which is so important. What happens in through bad food and poor nutrition is that cell membrane becomes stiff, and so it's not able to take in nutrients. And I think that's possibly why the lifelong vitality is so effective. So you've got that complement. Not only are you creating this great entry point, but you're allowing this great transfer to supply your cells with this energy, which is so important. And it's only, I think, I always say hindsight is a valuable thing, is a wonderful thing, because until you go through it, you won't know how good you feel until you feel good. And you think, my gosh, I felt horrendous before. But, I'm going through perimenopause at the moment, which is extremely boring. However, I've got to say that I have been very, very diligent for pretty much 4 months. I've been taking lifelong vitality. I've been taking phytoestrogens. I've been using clary sage. But I do think it's the lifelong vitality that has stopped all my hot flushes, because I've got everything's in sync. Everything's working beautifully. It's sort of, I just think of a wheel, and if something is sort of chugging along, it's very difficult to make it move smoothly. When you've got the right oils and everything working perfectly, then your body works at its optimum. And many people don't even know what that optimum is. So, I think you're right. If you start with that and then work your way through the oils, you are on a great thing. And so just what I want to say very quickly is, a lot of these products that I've talked about tonight, they are great to put on your, what we call the loyalty reward program, because it's something that you need monthly. So for me, every month I buy my PB Assist Junior, I do the fish oil, I do the lifelong vitality, and then I might add certain things, but like my Terrazyme. So that already is, boom, that's my, my stock standard, plus of course my cleaning products, whatever. But that's very, very quick way to get a regular product into my home, and I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to be going from one website to another website to another. So I really do encourage everyone to go onto the Loyalty Rewards program. If you want to know any more about that, then you can talk to the person who introduced you, or contact us, and we can, give you a lot more information there. But, from that, then you have the ability to be able to share your experience and to share the oils as well. So tonight, that is it for our little chat tonight. Thank you so much for connecting with us, and we hope that you have learned a little bit about the products and how they can be used, and most importantly, how they can be used safely through all ages of our life. So thank you so much.
Oh, Zosh, thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sasha.
Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you, Denise. I see you there.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you. I learned a lot.
Sasha. It was very good.